For me, it just snapped where I was like, you deserve like a love beyond four walls. Like, we are supposed to live,
right? I know.
We're supposed to live love outside. Like, it's supposed to be free.
Hey guys, I want to make sure that I am creating content that is exactly what you want to hear. So, will you tell me which part of this video is your absolute favorite? Comment below and tell me, did something make you laugh? Did something make you cry? Did something super motivate you or light a fire under your butt or any old thing at all? Let me know down below and make sure you tell me what minute it happened at so that I can create around that exact thing. Thanks, guys.
Where do we even begin? I guess we'll start with who you are. Like, we're already in church.
Like,
I'm ready for mine.
Who am I? Who am I?
Expressive
So
responses.
I'll just give you guys, listeners, a little backstory here. So I'm sitting here with two of my best friends on planet Earth, Brittany Barron.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Full name.
who we
Full
call
government name.
yeah. And we call her Beans for reasons she can explain if that's where her heart takes her.
Yes.
Sammy Cromlin.
yes.
Longtime friends. Met Beans first. Met Sammy through Beans. These women were friends, are now married. And probably like the marriage piece was always in the back burner, just not everyone was aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Good.
Perfect intro.
We've been doing a series on Rise Together, which is about rising together and giving listeners some perspective on maybe relationships that they don't have in their own circle or haven't walked through before. And so much of your story, it's so much bigger, obviously, and richer than just even what we can encompass today. But so much of your story for me is about how hard you fought to have a story together and what that looks like. And I know when we did the episode with Chris and he talked about what that had meant for him, it resonated so much with listeners who maybe don't have that perspective. And just all the things. I want to talk about all the things. You've been married for 3 years? 4?
2.5.
2.5. So you're
Crazy.
experts at
Yes.
this point. You know
Anything you need to know about marriage, you can message me. I'll be taking live questions.
So I guess take us back to, how'd you guys meet?
So we actually met, I don't know if anyone's heard of Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That old thing.
So I was, in my previous life, a pastor at a megachurch. And
And this just took an interesting turn.
yes.
Yeah, people were just like, oh, okay.
Whoa.
Didn't
Yeah,
think we were
and
going
here we
there.
are.
Yeah, here we
Guess
are.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been hired on, one of the things I was hired on to do was start up a college ministry. So for all the college students in the neighborhood. So I got a random Facebook message one day, and it just said, "Hey, Beans." And that was just the end of the message.
Ooh,
Yeah.
This case.
suave.
It was on Facebook, like, you push enter, and you
Yeah.
accidentally sent the
Yes.
thing. And then I was, like, writing for, like, 10 more minutes.
Yes.
So she's like, what
It was
is
followed
gonna-"
by a very long,
Yeah.
oops, I hit enter too soon. Here's the rest of the message.
Which this is the first time I've ever asked you, and I never thought this before this moment. Did you know you were gay when you sent "Hey Beans"?
Okay, the intention was not to, like, date
Yeah.
or, like, see what would happen. It was definitely genuinely like, oh, I'm also working at a Christian university, and I want to do college ministry as well. So, like, we had mutual friends, so I reached out to get involved with that ministry. So, no, I didn't cognitively know that I was, like, gay or interested in women. I mean,
In retrospect, it's like
softball,
hindsight
16
2020.
years.
If you see pictures of Sammy as a teenager, you're like, oh, sweet
Yeah,
girl.
so
How'd
many
you not know?
giveaways.
Yeah.
So it was,
Softball
my path was
16
leading to here. So,
Oh my god.
so didn't know. But, like, yeah, so that message then led into, like, us meeting for coffee because she needed to make sure I wasn't, like, a crazy person that wanted to.
A lot of people want to volunteer.
Volunteer.
At church where you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
good.
And then it led into, like, a 4-hour conversation talking about, like, God and community and college and how weird it is to be just a young adult and wanting to, like, become and all that stuff. So we were, like, literally dreaming, which is we're all, like,
This is your spiritual
Yeah.
gift.
so good at. And then basically that 4-hour conversation, like, led into, like, did we just become best friends?
Yes.
And then, like, making out basically 2 weeks later.
It's that fast? Okay,
No, it
I
was
don't know
not 2
that
weeks
piece of
later.
the story.
It was not 2
That's like a blur to me.
Driving over here, Sammy was like, I'm just gonna like make stuff up
Yeah,
with
yeah,
times.
yeah. That
and I
feels
was like,
right.
I know.
Yeah, timeline.
I need you to
yeah.
check the
No,
facts.
okay. It was fast-ish.
Yeah.
Because neither of us knew that we were gay.
Mm-hmm.
We meet, we have this 4-hour conversation, and literally, like, we become instant best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we're, like, best friends. And, like, in retrospect, I was like, I did the most for this person I had literally just met. Like maybe a week and a half after we met, Sammy was starting, like, grad school, like, school. And I was like, oh, I should go to the store and I should make her a basket of everything she might need starting grad school.
Like a first day of school kit.
Like, who am I? And at this point, it hasn't even registered that, like, I have a crush on this person.
Oh, wow.
And my friends are like, what are you doing? I was like, I literally don't even know. Like, I'm
just being really
I'm
nice.
doing the most.
They're like, you've never done this for me.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna, like, go all out. Like, it was like a week in, and we were hanging out, and Sammy was like, I feel like this is really weird because, like, we just met, but I feel like you're gonna be in my wedding.
Yep. Yep. I like,
Oh,
when
that's
you're just like, I see you up at, standing next to me when I get married one day.
And I'm
that
like, me
is
too.
So freaking funny.
Yeah,
you guys.
we were so oblivious, honestly, for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and then we made out.
Mm-hmm.
And just, okay, now I'm curious. We've been friends for a long time. I've never asked these questions before. Like, you make out for the first time. You leave, let's say, makeout session. Are
No,
you
here's
both like,
what-
oh
no.
my gosh, what just happened?
Here's what literally happened. So, like, a little while in, I realized, like, I have a crush on this person. I think she has a crush on me, too. And, like, I was moving, and I had one night where I didn't have anywhere to, like, lease ends one day before new lease begins.
Yes.
And even, Rosie, to stay, she's like,
Yeah.
oh, so you're going to stay with me? I was like, no, I'm going to stay with, the person I just met. Rosie's like, what? So we're staying in Tammy's apartment. She has a twin bed, and we're just laying there. And, like, stiff, like, literally just, like, we are.
Like pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
like,
And
You're,
it's,
like,
like,
freaked out.
Like, I just feel her there. But I've never, I've never been aware of a person before like this.
Yes.
Like, tension.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
everything's, like.
and then she woke up that night and she's like, are you awake? And I was like, yeah, are you awake? And then, like, that's all that happened.
And then, yeah, no, like, we just. And
Are
then
you
it's
awake?
like.
Yes. Are you awake? Also.
That happens at, like, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m. And then we just get up.
Yeah.
And I move.
Mm-hmm.
And all day I'm like, what? Oh my God. I'm like,
Okay, now we have to. God is a beautiful segue here because we have to step back. All
Yes.
three of us grew up in Christian homes, churches, the whole thing. You have this moment. Are you awake? You wake up and you're like, what? Did that factor into it at all? Like, oh shoot.
I feel like it was, at least for me, that was just so blissful. I wasn't even thinking about it, but so the next day was, after she moved me in my room, was the day we had, like, made out. And at that moment, like, after that moment, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was a pastor at this church, and Sammy worked at the Christian college that we both went to, actually. And both of those were places where you
That
cannot.
Christian college has produced more of my homosexual friends.
It's the
than-
gayest.
We call it gay.
Gay- You can say it, man.
Yeah, you can say it.
We call it gay PU.
Yeah.
Yeah, gay PU.
And if you figure out what college that is, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would
Literally all of my friends.
yeah. Would
Seriously.
not
Yeah.
recommend
Yeah.
Yeah.
For many
if you're
reasons.
like yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's not that they're there because that school is supportive of it.
Yeah,
It's
just
that
for some reason.
randomly you
Yeah.
all found each other.
like
Yes,
everyone.
it's
Yeah.
true. We
Yeah.
all flock
And still
together.
today. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. I'm like, okay.
What is
You
this?
too? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So like you guys. But both of those were places where it was against the rules to be gay. Like, you cannot work here. You cannot support this. You cannot. That was just not a thing you could be and function in the places that we functioned in.
And I wanna add clarity here. Some of you are hearing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. Similar circumstances. Some of you are hearing this. Maybe you come from a more liberal background and you're like, oh, did this happen in 1971 in the Bible Belt? Like,
Yeah.
no. This is 2000
This is 2013 Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yes, just so we're all
Yes.
in alignment.
Yep,
Very
it's good.
cool Los Angeles. So actually, we ended up making out, and I had a rush of so many emotions and no idea. And Sammy then says, wow, that was my first, like, one-time only hookup, never again with a friend, super casual, gotta go.
I was like, bucket list, check, you know? Like,
And
that
then, like,
happened.
literally, like, scurries away. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Because are you freaking out?
I'm freaking
Yeah.
out, but I gotta play cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, that happened. Maybe I'm into girls.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that was kind of like a realization. And then I went back to my Christian dorm room and, like, just was like, what the
journaled,
Yeah.
probably.
heck? What's
Yeah.
happening?
And then what? So this is 2013.
Yep.
Yep.
So that was the beginning of what we called the fog,
Mm-hmm.
which was the next
Rolled in
3
that
years
night.
of our life.
Yeah.
This is like, it's wild because I was just talking to Abby about this. Abby, if you're listening, is my therapist.
Oh,
Yeah.
I literally was like, Wombat? Like,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I just thought you guys run in the highest
Also, yeah.
echelons
Yeah,
of
just
lesbian
talking
to
sales.
Abby.
Yeah. I don't
Abs.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know why my brain
Yeah.
went there,
That's
but
great.
it did.
Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe, if you're listening, you can be friends. I'll be your friend.
Hey, here, at me.
Yeah. At Brit Bear. But I think about, like, I literally could cry sometimes thinking about this, is, like, so for the next literally 3 years, we just were in a loop of, I was in a loop of, initially, am I gay or is this a test? Like, I
Like a
grew up,
test from God?
yeah.
Whoa.
Because I grew up thinking, like, mega church pastor is the ultimate goal. So when I peaked at 26, I'm like, okay, like, this is, like, I have done life right, I think, or obviously, like, God is pleased with me, all these things. And then I'm, like, making out with this girl, and I'm like, it feels so right. Is that a part of the test? Like, I mean, it was just so many mind games that were, like, so awful to just, like, loop through every day, and, like, finally working through and being like, okay, I am gay, and I am attracted, and I look back and I'm like, oh, gosh, I've always been attracted to women, you know, which, I don't know, unfortunately and fortunately, like, growing up in the church is kind of easy to be closeted, because when you're like, no, I don't feel tempted at all to have sex with my boyfriends, they're like,
Yes.
good job.
Yeah.
Like, literally, if anywhere else, someone would have been like,
What?
What?
Yeah.
ask a few questions here.
Yeah.
But then we just got into, like, a loop of, or this was my fear spiral, was like, I don't know how to choose Sammy and not resent her for having to lose the life that I thought I wanted. And I don't know how to choose this career in this life and not resent it for having to lose Sammy. And that was where I was for too long.
And what are you feeling at this time? Because you're like, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, like, I fell hard pretty fast because it was like, this, oh my gosh, this is, like, everything I always wanted in a man, what I thought. And then I was like, whoa. And I feel like I found it. Meanwhile, like, parallel with that, I also started working. I left that Christian college job, started working at that same church that
yeah.
Beans is working at.
Ayo.
And as a graphic designer, and then, like any church, you just start getting thrown into all the things. So end up getting a full-time job there. So now we're, like, secretly making out. We're questioning that part, and then, like, because we're working in a church, we're working together, and then, like, then I actually moved in. We started living together during that time as well.
Totally forgot about that, honestly.
We had 2 beds in one room, and then we slept in the same bed, but I would mess up my bed every day just so that our roommates didn't know what was happening. So we were just like, we called it the fog because it was literally like, this feels so right, but then everything that we're told and taught makes us feel like it's so wrong.
So wrong.
So it legitimately can't leave this room. Like, it felt like our love could only stay in these 4 walls. And then there was, I mean, fast forward, I think 2 years of that kind of, like, cycle of, like, we would be like, this feels so right. And then we'd be like, oh, we have to stop. We can't do this. And that would probably happen hundreds of times. And then a moment where, for me, it just snapped where I was like, you deserve like a love beyond four walls. Like we are
Sammy.
supposed
I
to
know,
live
right?
Such
I
an
know.
artist.
we're supposed to live love outside. Like it's supposed to be free. Like that's what it is. And I think, we both know that we're attracted to women, but I knew that this is what we needed. But also at the same time, I knew that like Brit had so much on the line, being like a woman of color, being a woman, being a pastor, being like high in leadership. Those are all like anomalies, like where she is. She's like paving the way of like of this thing, at this amazing thing that's happening, at this church, and then being like, I might be the one that takes that all away. Like I don't know if I can be that similar resentment. I was like, I'm gonna ruin this. So I was like, we have to go to therapy. And we weren't even like out or anything, but I was like, we need to go talk to a therapist, and start like hashing this out. Like, we either break up or we do this thing. Like that's my head was like, we got to either do this or not, at that point. And so, yeah. And then
So how long, so all this is going on when I started, so we became friends, Beans and I became friends. And the thing was, when I met Sami, it wasn't even a question. I distinctly remember going to, what was the women's group called?
Oh, Women Are.
Women Are. I distinctly remember going to Women Are, and you were running the tech or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that we go to a church that is so inclusive.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
And then we end up going to San Francisco. Beans and a bunch of girls are running a half marathon.
Rach kindly drove us.
I drove.
And when the freeway was closed, we had to go around.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
I talk about this in Girl Wash Your Face. And on the way back, this is so Beans. She's such a 7. It's the enthusiast. Everyone else falls asleep because they've literally run a half marathon that day. But it's, 5 hours? Maybe 6 hours?
Yeah.
And God bless Beans, who can barely keep her eyes open but doesn't want me to have to drive all those hours alone, so stays awake and is talking to me. And we're talking about everything. And at one point, I'm like, oh, but I don't know. Sami's name came up. And I'm like, oh, but Sami's gay. And Beans turned into like a robot. She was like, what? No.
Literal malfunction.
No, that is just her tendency. We joke about it. We both like, she just has. And I remember being like, thou doth protest me much. That is a weird reaction.
I'll just get out here. This is my stuff.
Yeah, it was just like such a weird reaction. And then how much time do you think it was between like that and then like the infamous bathroom scene in our friendship?
That was the beginning of the end, sort of. Because at that point, like,
she knows.
And the craziest part about it was I am obsessed with Sami and literally have been since like that first coffee.
I can concur.
Yeah,
with
just obsessed. I've never been this obsessed with a person. I've never been this in love.
Right. Remember that time we were at a restaurant and she came in? Remember when I was talking about the book?
Oh.
Yes. Well, that'll also go down in history of our friendship. Yes. And we're sitting at a restaurant and Sami walks in with like your roommate.
Okay.
And Beans' world exploded. That was when I was like, oh, shoot.
Yes.
Okay. Because you literally, because I think we'd had drinks, and you literally were like, that's my best friend. And I was like, is it though?
I mean,
right, like on the wall.
Yeah, obsessed. Like, it was her. So we met in July, and her birthday is in October, so not a ton of time in between. Like, the first time we had ever met. And then, like, a few months later, she was turning 25. And casually, she had said, I've never been surprised, like, before. And so from that, I'm like, this is going to be... I have a mission. So she's not obviously, you wouldn't know this. She's an incredible photographer. She's amazing.
Amazing.
And
Sami, tell them where they follow you on Instagram.
At Sami Lane Co.
Yeah, you'll understand.
Yeah,
the best. Look at it.
So she didn't have a camera. She had never had a camera. So she wanted this camera, and it was like, I don't know, $1,800 or something. So I was like, I'm gonna somehow get the password to her phone and her Facebook, and I'm gonna ask everyone she knows, and I'm gonna have everyone donate. If we can get 70 people to donate
so
$20,
cute.
and then I can buy this camera for her, and then I'll have everyone send in a video of like how much they love her, she hopes she comes into my backyard. There's like a projector projecting this video.
You pulled it off.
I pulled it 100%. And here's the thing, Rach, you were the first person to ask what was going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course we're gay. I had 2 weeks of vacation. I took it all just to drive to Seattle and back with Sammy. That's what we're doing.
Oh, man.
Anyways.
This is the best.
So
sweet.
Eventually we're like, and it's hard because it's like the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me feels like it's going to cost me the most, which looking back, I'm so grateful for. Because like I feel like that's the lesson you learned is like, it should. If it doesn't cost you, I don't know. So we're in therapy and Sammy is just better than me at so many things. And eventually we got to a point where she was just ready. Like, someone who was out and openly gay had applied to a job at our church, and they refused to even give him an interview. And Sammy said, "You have a week to change your mind or I'm gone." And I was like, shit. Like, she's gonna do it. And I'm like, and so she did.
Well, it just felt so, like, contradicting that we were celebrating me that was hiding as a church, and then we were hindering or suppressing someone who was free on the other side.
Wow.
Like, that didn't make any sense, and I felt like a hypocrite because I was then putting someone else's, that was very intentional. I was, like, testing the waters. Like, if this person applies and they say yes, that means we can be together. Like, we can do this, you know? And then when they said that, I was like, oh, my gosh, I can't be here. I can't be here because I know that now we're not accepted here. And so immediately I was like, I got to get out. I got to apply to another job. And then I was like, so I'm so in love with you. And if you want to be with me, then you got to leave the job, you know?
Yeah, Sammy got
you
this.
left first.
I left first.
She got this cool job, like, in the arts district, and she was like, hey, by the way, like, there's a whole world out here where no one cares that if you're gay.
Yeah.
Like, there's just another part of the world, and I feel so free, and all my coworkers know about you. And I was just like, I can't. I was so scared. I had so much fear. I was so...
Can you articulate what you were afraid of?
Just the story I believed was so small. And I was scared about the way people would respond. I was scared about losing my job because I went to a Christian college, then worked at a Christian college, then worked at a church. And I was like, what can I even do for money? And then I was really just honestly kind of scared about being outside of the only world that I had known.
Can I ask, too, if it... I feel like I'm trying to think of the way to say this. Like, you're not a 3, you're not an achiever, but you are, from my perspective, very successful. Like, very articulate, very smart. You're a leader. People have always looked to you. This is my perception of was there a part of you that was scared to, like, not be the good kid or not be...
100%. Being a black woman, there are things about life where you're just like, no, some people are going to look at you sideways, and that's just a part of life. But for the most part of my life, it's like just what you were saying, is like a little bit of a golden child situation. And I would articulate to Sammy, like, my whole life has been on a mountaintop. Like, I've always had the kind of life that people look in on, and that has meant something to me. And what does this mean for, like, all the students I've mentored? What does this mean for all the people that have listened to me speak? What does this mean for all the, like... all of that will feel gone, and it's hard to figure out who I am without that, and I was just so scared. I didn't know what it was going to feel like to have another layer of a reason for people to maybe not accept me. And so we broke up, and and
that was a sad time.
Miserable.
And you can't even really tell people why you're sad.
And one of at the time, my best friend at work and I we would talk, like, all day, because, that's what you do at work when you work at a church. You're just like, hey, want to talk in my office? she was just like, what is your, like, I mean, I was so depressed. I can't even really wrap my mind around it. And I was also about to turn 30, which is its own thing, right? Now that
I
I'm,
remember that birthday
yeah.
party.
Yes, yes. And it was like a few days before I turned 30, and I had this picture of John Lewis, the civil rights leader, in my apartment, and it was signed because I got to meet him. Shout out to myself. And it's him leading the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And I mean, for hours and hours, I just cried and stared at that picture, and I was like, what gave you that? How did you do that? Like, how did you do that? Like, you put everything on the line for what you believe in, for what you wanted to do. And at some point, finally, I was like, oh my God, I have that too. Like, and the next day I quit my job and I called Sami and I was like, dear God, if you're dating someone, I'm going to throw up right now. And it had only been like 2 or 3
days.
weeks.
Yeah.
I just like imagining like a line out the door. And yeah, that was the beginning of like the hardest, but like best like years we've ever had.
I was thinking what's so interesting from an outsider watching your relationship is how much, I don't know if this is a weird thing to say, but I feel like how much we grew as a couple watching y'all's relationship. Like, we never had to fight to be together. We never had to give up a huge thing. It was so, I am positive that this will piss people off to say it, but it was so disheartening to watch the church's reaction to you being together. The things that we know for a fact went on behind the scenes and what they did and what they said. And it's how much it rocked my faith. And and I'm sure I can't even fathom how much it rocked y'all's faith. And what it took to get to the other side of understanding, like, God will never let you down. People are humans, and we can do things and choose things and make mistakes, but it was never, that was never holy. That reaction and the way that y'all were treated and was so gross. And not only, I think of how many families, and I know it's not like a line of 100 people, but your parents and us, like, who left the church because of being one person on stage and being a totally different thing behind the scenes. What did your faith journey look like in that as you now become something new, still your relationship, still your, still a Christian, still a preacher, still doing, but it has evolved and become something new.
Yeah, I think that it's strange how much stronger of a connection I felt with God the minute I feel like I opened myself up to asking, am I okay? And feeling so much peace. Like, and it's funny because the way I feel with Sami, the way I feel about loving Sami, being loved by Sami, feels so good. And the person I had to pretend to be in this world of church, it didn't even feel good. It didn't feel whole. It didn't feel... And so it was, I mean, obviously, like, logistically, there were so many questions about what does church mean and how do we do this? But I think from the second, like, I opened myself up to asking honestly and being willing to hear an honest answer, like, am I okay? I think from then on, I was like, that's untouchable from anyone. You can say anything you want. You can quote whatever you want. You can say anything on the internet about me or my ability to be or not to be a Christian. But what is absolutely unshakable is that feeling that I have, that I know. And that's just that's just mine.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What I think is really interesting about you, and I would say the same thing about Chris, is you all carry a similar philosophy in that you were very graceful with your families, with your friends, and how they processed this truth and what the future sort of looked like now. I mean, he talked about that when I sat down with him, and I just know this because I know your story, that you didn't, there were people in our lives that I don't talk to anymore because I'm like, F you. Like, you did not handle that well. You didn't love and support them well. You didn't do that the way you should have. And you guys have always been so graceful. Like, you're so beautiful in that way. Where does that come from? Because I'm like, middle fingers up.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's like really
Yeah.
hard. I think Beans is so much better at that than me, which I think I've like learned a lot from her. But also, I remember my uncle is gay, and he kind of like led the way for our family, or at least he made it a safe space. I went to his wedding when I was like, I think 20. So it was like a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I kind of knew that it wasn't going to be a shocking thing, 16 years of softball for me, but then also because I had someone pave the way for me and my family. But he, when I came out to him, this is like the most beautiful thing. He wrote in his journal, and he just sent it to me probably like 3 months ago. And it was this whole thing about like how beautiful that was to come out to him, and then how a reminder of that like everyone's on their own journey, and that we get to not only hold our stories, but hold our people's stories with us, and that like we were fighting this fight for 3 years, just us. And so kind of allowing people in our lives to come on that journey almost immediately is unfair. To be like, okay, you need time to also process this. You need time to like come on to this journey with us too. You might not even, accept it at first, but like we at our core know that we are true and good and right, and that love is love and will always be true. And so at our core, we knew that was truth. So coming out of that place versus coming out of a place of questioning who we are, if love is good, like our love is good, or what God thought about us, or all that. So I feel like coming out of that confidence, and even confidence in each other, knowing that what we have is right and true, really helped kind of be graceful with people in our life and be like, okay, hopeful that they would come around. And that good relationships, even our relationship, but then any relationship takes fight. And some don't make it through the fight, but I think the ones that are worth it do. And so there's some that are worth fighting for. So, yeah.
We've gotten, it's interesting, as I was just telling Sammy this on the way here this morning, we have reached a point now where we have been out as a couple longer than we were closeted as a couple. For a while, it was like we just hit that threshold, which is like really wild.
That was crazy.
And I think it has made I don't know, like we still have that, and I still want to have that, because so many things happen, like even with our church. And one thing I always told Sammy is I just don't want anyone to be able to say about us what we have felt from them.
Yes.
And I believe that still. And at the same time, at least my boundaries have gotten way stricter. Like, I want to care for you. I want to be gracious, but this is my family.
Yeah.
Like, this is my wife. And if you need a book recommendation, you know what I mean? Like, I'll send you a link, but it's definitely a balance.
Well, and it feels a bit, from an outsider's perspective, watching y'all navigate some of that. To me, it felt like there was conditional love. Like, oh, yeah, we'll still have you, and I'm sure that there are listeners who are navigating this and are like, you get to come to Thanksgiving, you get to come to Christmas, but you can't bring your boyfriend, you can't bring your girlfriend, or don't talk about those things, or so it feels like conditional love, which doesn't feel like love.
And here's the thing, which is like wild, and it's hard still to not feel guilty about this. But we have people in our lives who jumped all the way in. Like, my parents have jumped all the way in.
They really
you have
have.
jumped. I know. They're probably wearing a rainbow something right now.
Yeah.
You and Dave, like, all the way in. Jesse and Elise, who officiated our wedding, like, all the way in. And it's cost everyone something.
Yeah.
Like, to this day, like, I'm like, it was one of the most, like, we would never have asked you to leave that church. We would never have done that. And you just being like, what? No,
Yeah.
I'm done, was like, I mean, it felt like, oh, yes.
Well, I think it's Sammy's thing. It's the hypocrisy. Is it from the front? How do I say this? Like, from the congregation, it was incredible. Incredible speakers, incredible worship team, greeters when you walked in, great children's. Like, it was a good church, and what ultimately it came down to, it was like, man, there's so many things about this that are good, but we know the behind the scenes. We have so many friends in leadership, we know the behind the scenes. And what it ultimately came down to was, I just imagine, fast forward 10 years. Fast forward 10 years or 15 years, let's say you're going to this church, and one of your kids comes to you and tells you that they're gay. And then and they're like, wait, but we go to this church where you know that they don't support inclusivity and that they believe that something is wrong with who I am at my core. And it's like, oh yeah, honey, it's okay because mommy doesn't believe that. And it's like, wait, but you sat there every Sunday and you let that person with that hate in their heart speak into your life and say what they were speaking was truth from God. Like, you brought us here every Sunday knowing that behind the scenes this wasn't like, that's what it ultimately was for me. It was like, I don't care how good your worship band is.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, I don't, the hypocrisy is the thing that just like kills me.
And I think that's the reality of, like, love, both romantically and non-romantically, is like, it's gonna cost. Like, our love, Sammy and I's love, deserved more than 4 walls, but that was gonna cost. Like, your love for us, your love for honestly every gay person everywhere was like, it was gonna cost. Like, my parents have gone all in, and that's cost them. It's cost them friends. It's, cost them opportunities, and even the people who officiated our wedding, like, it cost them. So it's hard to, there's a quote that says there's 2 great roads in life, the road of love and the road of suffering. And if you're on one of them long enough, you realize it's the same road. Like, the road of love is the road of suffering. And so I think you realize that, like, love is meant to be fought for. And so if you say you love someone, romantically or non-romantically, I want to see that in practice now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that. I believe that out of action. I want to show that out of action. You know what I mean? Like, if you, Rach, you name it, we're like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, we'll do it. We're down. Like, because I get that that's what that means. You can't do conditional. You can't do 1 foot in the door. You can't do love in 4 walls. Like, life is literally not meant to be lived like that. And every single day, I say this all the time, like, every day I wake up, I see Sammy's face, and it's a miracle. I'm like, this is a life I never thought I could have. Like, I think we all can have those lives, but, like, you have to be willing to be in the fog. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to give something up. Like, you can't have it all, and I think that's, like, the beautiful thing about it. Yeah.
Well, if someone's listening to this right now who is not out, who's still inside the 4 walls, what's the advice you guys would give to them?
Such a good question.
I feel like be so tender with yourself. I think it's so important to be so gracious with yourself. Like, there's no perfect timeline. Every October, when National Coming Out Day would, like, come and go, and I still hadn't, like, done anything, it was such a shame storm. But I don't know. I think you're okay. It's there's no shame. Coming out is very hard and scary, and you'll be there when you're ready, and just know that there are literally thousands upon thousands of people who will celebrate with you.
Absolutely. What do you say, Sam?
That's like all I wanted, and that's like all I wanted my therapist to tell me was that I was okay and that I was good. And so if you're listening, I want you to know that you are okay and that you are good. And something Beans and I always say is that there is no rule book, that we get to write our own rule book, and that whenever that time is for you or whatever that looks like for you, it's yours. And so it's special, it's good, it's okay. And we love you and we support you. Rachel's got you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now I feel like you guys know why I love these women so much. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Gosh, such a good episode.
Wow.
But wait, tell them where they can find you on Instagram because I feel like they're going to want to
Okay.
get more relationship with you.
You can find me on Instagram at Brit Barron with 1 T and 2 R's.
And you can find me at Sami Lane Co. Sami, S-A-M-I. I feel like it's a weird spelling. Lane and then Co.
Yeah.
And then if you're interested in, I'm also a pastor's wife because Brit's a pastor.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that's at Bad Pastor's Wife.
Yep.
That's just content that's gold.
It
right
is
there.
gold
Yeah.
It's
content.
the true.
And we will all be at Rise all year long. So
Yes.
come dance with us.
See you there.
I'm ready.
Beans has some really good dance moves.
Yes.
The
I
best.
I am Sierra. Shoot. I don't know how to pronounce my own name.
Both. You're both.
Perfect.
I ghost dance for her. Please cut all of this.
No. This
Leave
is
it.
the end.
Leave
This
it.
is the gold. You leave this in. I hope that this was a helpful video or maybe at least entertaining. If there's anything that you want to know that I didn't cover, be sure and comment below and let me know what it is. And also subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, but subscribe. So every time we post a new video, you get a notification. All right, guys, have a great week.